It is a 50th year anniversary for WHUR, sounding like Washington, Howard University Radio. We used to know it as WHUR. And, you know, to do this, 50 years, it takes a lot to keep things going. 1 year, 2 year, but 50 years. And you got to have somebody that you can hand that over to who can take it to the next 50 years. But you're not going. You can work for 50 more years?
I don't know. We were talking about that. That's 2071. I don't know. It might roll me in, but
Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to have Sean Plater. He is the general manager not only of WHUR, but WHUT, which used to be known as WHMM. So just to take you back, we used to call it her and him.
That's funny, yes.
No,
yes,
and you know what?
Thought about that. Yeah.
And I got to tell you this since we're here, and I forgot that you were general manager of HUT. Mm-hmm. I've been watching some of the pieces that you guys have on the Fighter Squadron. You had something on black ballerinas, mm-hmm. and I found myself recording stuff.
Wow.
And it's just, let's talk about what's going on, because of course everybody knows about HUR, but HUT kind of doesn't get the panache that it should. Let's talk about that, because I'm just going to switch everything. We're going to talk about HUT.
No, HUT is a real gem, and it's something that we're really putting a focus on, and really looking at how we can even do some things together with HUR and WA. You have to have me say the HMM and HUT,
right?
But no, it's really, and our content is really focused on local and things that matter to our community. And I think that's what WHUT has the opportunity to do, to really be a voice for the DMV, but also being a part of the PBS network. Their programs we can create here in DC and send them across the country. So we're really content focused and building the right team to help take it forward.
Now, let me ask you this, because coming into a legacy is a challenge. I know from doing Quiet Storm, I was, the weekend for Melvin, and I would sit in for Melvin. So let's talk about the challenge it is when you, and this is the thing, when I first started doing Quiet Storm on the weekends, everybody's like, oh man, I know you knew you and man. I'm like, oh hell no. I'm 20 years old taking over a #1 show. If it goes down, it's on my watch. So you understand how I felt, right?
I understand completely. These are legendary brands. I mean, HUR is something special. And I had the privilege of working here. So I've been at HUR for probably about 16 years or so, in many different roles, coming up as a student. So I understand it a little bit different. And I also grew up here in the city, grew up listening to the station. So, it's something that I take very seriously, and a brand that we must protect, because there's nothing like this in the country. And so it's so special. There's so many people who put their blood, sweat, and tears into it, and we owe it to them to take the station forward. And I'm happy that we've been able to do it. And right now we're the #1 music station in Washington, D.C. So.
And let's talk about that, because this is a university-owned station, and you don't have you've got your presence online and you have a presence with Sirius XM, but in this market, and here's the thing, what happens, folks, a conglomerate will take and they'll slice up your demographics. So they'll put a station for the youngsters and then a station for the old folks, and then you're kind of finding yourself there. But what I like, what you guys have done with HUR as I've been listening, is you kept the quality, because quality outlives everything. It's like anytime you have something quality, young folks, old folks, it's the one thing that grandparents and kids and parents can get together on is quality.
Absolutely, and that's always been HUR. We play quality music. That's how we make a decision, and it's always been that way. What gets played, sometimes it was the single that somebody sent. Sometimes it's the B-side songs that artists didn't really want you to put out there, but we did it. We did it anyway. But it's all about the quality of the music and setting that standard. And for us being a standalone in a market like this, your product has to be superior. And so we hold ourselves to that high bar of making sure that we're producing quality content and music every single day.
Well, you know what? And here's the whole thing. I grew up listening to HUR. Like I said, I was 12 when I first did HUR, and started working there and had a chance to just expand. What I appreciate is that you kept that, because, you know, a lot of times people become formulaic and they're going to live off what happened in the past, but you guys are just constantly moving that forward. And I appreciate that, because, you know, I'm still like, man, I listen to some songs and go, you know, this sounds like a demo back in the day. But then I'll hear some music you guys have and I got to go, okay, who is that? Right. So tell me what's going forward for HUR and for WHUT.
Yeah, you know, really just an increased focus on content, you know, and producing more content in different types of ways, you know, different platforms, social, you know, apps. We're actually doing both for both stations. You know, we've got web content coming, kind of some digital-only series that may be 10, 15 minutes, snackable content that you can consume, but from WHUR, from WHUT. WHUT is actually working on a new technology, next-gen TV, to be leading the market here in DC with that. It's going to be released on December 15th. It will be the next-gen TV center for the market, and ABC, CBS, Fox, and NBC will all be a part of it here in the market on our ATSC 3.0 stick. So big things happening on the technical side for HUT as well as the content side. So we're really excited about what's happening, and even the educational content and connections we're making there. We're looking to take over. We want more.
Wait a minute. So, Sean, you just hit, because, you know, you're HU and I'm HU, you know, right? One of the classes I took was called Alternate Systems Planning. And what that basically was, alternate systems planning meant that you have to come up with something that doesn't exist. Now, mine was, I remember my parents, we were looking for a house. We had to go from one place to that. What if we videotaped it? Right. So that was my idea. And it's good to see that alternate systems planning mentality is still, how do we take things to that next level?
Oh, yeah. And just being innovative, you know, that's something that is pushed across Howard University, and, you know, grateful to the support of Dr. Wayne Frederick and the entire cabinet, SVP Debbie Jarvis, you know, for their support as we continue to innovate. That's our task and that's our charge.
All right. I know you need to go, but I just got one thing. Miller Jim Watkins. Let's talk about him.
Jim Watkins, his name sums it up. Jim Watkins is a Jim.
Yeah.
Really, you know, I had the privilege of serving under Jim as an intern, serving as deputy general manager for 5 years, and that was the greatest training ground I could have ever received. Really learning from just somebody who thinks in a different way, and just forces you to not just accept just enough, you know. And so I am extremely grateful to Jim and grateful to what he's poured out to so many people, you know, over 50 years. He's literally been here the whole 50 years, and actually excited tonight. We're going to recreate that moment 50 years ago. He'll actually be firing off the first song at 6 o'clock, the theme from Shaft, just like he did.
But you know, that's the first song. I was like 12, and it was before my parents moved to Maryland, and my father had this tabletop stereo, right? FM. And I would listen for Shaft. It was that, and I think it was the other one, of like, You Got a Friend or Where Is the Love? And just to hear it in stereo, I was like, oh my goodness.
It's a special day, man. A special day to recreate and celebrate, again, all of those that have been a part of 50 years. It's a major accomplishment.
Well, look, Sean, thank you so very much. We've had the privilege to have the general manager of not only WHUR, but WHUT, formerly known as HMM. And this is the anniversary, 50 years of WHUR, sounding like Washington.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Oh, man, thank you for carrying it on. And like I said, I owe everything that I've done to HUR, because it gave me my pedigree. You know, people go, oh, okay, you from HUR.
Right. You get that stamp.
There you got it, boom.
Right.